Assalamu alaikum, dear students of class 6th. We've been talking about separation of substances. Okay, we finished understanding this, we finished reading this. Okay, in this lesson, we learned what does separation of substances mean, and also we discussed various methods of separation. Right, today let's try to answer some of the questions asked in the end of this lesson, separation of substances. Okay, let's try to answer some of the questions. Okay, in the next part we will took care of rest part of the questions. Okay, so question number 1 of this lesson is, why do we why do we need to separate different components of a mixture? Give two examples. Okay, the question asks us, okay, why is it important to separate different components of a mixture? Okay, as we know that uh, the substances that we use in our daily life, they do not come in purified form, right? Okay, so it is important for us to remove the impurities, to remove the dirt, dust, etc. from the uh, substances, from the usable substances, in order to make them usable, right? Okay, so we can take some examples in order to understand this. Say, for example, we separate slightly large sized impurities like the piece of dirt, stone, and husk from wheat, rice, or pulses by hand picking method. Okay, similarly, we practice winnowing, we practice filtration, threshing, etc. Okay, these are some methods which we use to separate impurities, to separate the non-usable substances from the usable substances, right? Okay, so this is the answer to the first question. So question number second is, what is winnowing, where is it used? Okay, you know that we have already talked about this, what is winnowing. So winnowing is a method of separating components of a mixture containing heavier and lighter components by wind or by blowing wind. Okay, either we what we do, we take a pan, okay, made up of wicks, or made up of plastic material, okay, and then what we do, with the help of wind, we try to separate the husk, we try to separate the lighter particles with the help of a blowing wind, right? Okay, so then that is called as winnowing. Okay, winnowing is used to separate husk particles from the seeds of grain, from the seeds of, say, for example, wheat, and for that matter, rice, etc. Right? Okay, then there is question number 3. How will you separate husk or dirt particles from a given sample of pulses before cooking? Okay, so for example, if there are husk or dirt particles, okay, in pulses that you are going to cook, what will you do? Okay, so husk or bigger particles of dirt, okay, can be removed from the sample of pulses by hand picking, right? Okay, so this is the answer to question number 3. Then there is question number 4. What is sieving, where is it used? You know that what is sieving. Okay, so sieving is a process of filtering components of a mixture of different sizes. Okay, so we also have sieves back at our homes. Okay, we sieve the floor in order to separate the husk from the floor. Okay, uh, from which we make duff and chapatis and roads and all that. Okay, so sieving allows fine particles to pass through the holes of the sieve, while the bigger impurities remain on the sieve. Okay, sieving is used in flour mills to separate broken particles of the grain from the flour. It is also used at construction sites to separate lumps, smaller stones, from the mixture of sand and cement, right? Okay, then there is question number 5. How will you separate sand and water from their mixture? Okay, to separate sand and water from their mixture, Okay, what we do, we take some steps. Okay, so first is we what we do, we leave mixture to sand undisturbed for some time in a container. Sand settles at the bottom of the container. It is called as sedimentation. Okay, as we have already talked about this. Okay, then gently what we do, we pour the water in another container, that's called as decantation. Okay, we may also use filter paper. Okay, we can do the filtration, okay, to remove the fine particles of sand. Okay, then there is question number 6. Is it possible to separate sugar mixed with wheat flour? If yes, how will you do it? The answer is yes. Through sieving, we can separate sugar mixed with wheat flour, right? So simply what we have to do, we have to take the sieve, okay, and with the help of a sieve we can separate the sugar particles mixed with the flour. Okay, this brings an end to today's topic. Okay, tomorrow we'll come up with some more questions, right? Till then, khuda hafiz, thanks a lot.